started like any other morning. The hallways smelled of fresh floor wax, lockers slammed shut, and the muffled chatter of students filled the air. But no one knew that in just a few hours, everything would change. First period was uneventful. Just another history lesson about things that seemed so distant, so unreal. But history was about to be made right here, in this very school. Some noticed the signs. A social media post, cryptic yet unsettling. A student sitting alone, head down, anger simmering beneath the surface. But warnings are easy to ignore when you don't believe something terrible could ever happen. It came without warning. A sharp crack echoed through the halls. At first, it sounded like someone had dropped a heavy book. But then, another shot. And another. Screams erupted. Footsteps thundered down the corridors. Teachers locked doors, whispering frantically to silent, terrified students. The school, once a place of safety, had become a war zone. The air was thick with fear. Students who had been laughing just minutes before were now hiding in darkened corners, holding their breath. The silence was deafening, until another shot rang out. Some hid wherever they could. Bathrooms, closets, beneath desks. Phones buzzed with desperate texts. "Are you okay? Where are you? Please answer." The lucky ones had time to respond. Others did not. One classroom held their breath as the doorknob rattled. Whispers turned to prayers. A single footstep, then another, before silence. Was he gone? Or just waiting? The outside world was watching now. News cameras captured the chaos. Parents clutched their phones, waiting for a message. Any message. Telling them their child was safe. Some would get that message. Others wouldn't. Some were heroes. A teacher who shielded her students. A student who led others to safety. But bravery alone wasn't enough. The shots kept coming, and lives were lost. And then, just as quickly as it began, it was over. The shooter, faced with overwhelming force, turned the gun on himself. But his actions had already left scars that would never heal. The echoes of that day would never fade. Desks would remain empty. Yearbooks would have missing faces. And the survivors? They would carry the weight of this day forever. The town gathered that night. Tears mixed with candlelight. Names were read aloud, voices breaking with grief. Never again, they said. But the question lingered. How do you stop what no one believes will happen? Days turned to weeks. The school reopened, but things were different. Empty desks stood as silent reminders. Survivors walked the halls, their laughter replaced with a lingering unease. No one looked at life the same way anymore. We remember. We mourn. And we ask ourselves, over and over again, how did this happen? And how can we stop it from ever happening again? Because no school should ever have to write its own chapter in history like this.